All right. Welcome to the first meetup at Better Danish. And today we're going to talk about nouns. And if you want to, you can put on the camera, but it's totally up to you. So, I'm just going to see if I can change here. Wait a minute. No. All right. Mm. And just so you know, this is the first time we're like hosting this, so bear over with me. Just need to get a bit here. All right. So today we're starting with talking a little bit about who I am and what is better Danish. I know there's some of you who's already using it, but I'm just gonna say some words about it, and then you can ask anything about Danish, like if it's something about to do with some culture, some grammar, or if you want to say anything in Danish, then you can ask here. You can either like um, raise your hand, or you can write it in the chat, and then I will keep an eye on the chat. Yes, and then we are doing a little exercise just to see how much you know about Danish nouns. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the definition of nouns and how we conjugate them in Danish. And then I made some small exercises, and then we're going to sum it all up. And then if you have any questions to today's topic, then we're going to take it in the end. Or you can just like write it in the chat, and then we're just going to go through it in the end. All right. So, yes. Who am I? My name is Henriette, and I'm from Denmark. I have a bachelor degree in intercultural studies and Danish as a second language, and that's why I'm teaching, in it. And I've been working as a Danish teacher for a year. I just stopped, and now I'm like I met Mihai, who is the founder of Better Danish, at this language school I was teaching in, and that's why we are here today. And what is Better Danish then? It's a new way to learn Danish with a main focus on speaking, and like it sets up an environment where you learn how to speak from the very end. And how you do that is that you're talking to Freya, which is a AI Danish teacher. So this is kind of a new way to like learn language. And then now we're also trying to have these meetup where you actually are talking to a Danish citizen. All right. And is there anyone who has questions about Danish? It can be about the Danish language. If you want to, like, how am I ordering a cup of coffee, or something cultural, or something to do with grammar. And you can just like write it in the chat, or you can, if you want to, you can also just ask. Mm. All right. I take that as nobody has a question to Danish. Yeah. Or else you can just, yeah, write it in the chat box. Then let's get started. I just need to. Let's start with the see how much you know about Danish nouns. So you can use the chat to either write A or B, or in this question, C as well. So the first question is, what is the definition of nouns? Hvad er definitionen på navnord? Does it have something to do with things and people, or actions, like something you do? Exactly, definitely a. All right. I know it's just a warm-up question, so I don't think any low things about you guys. I'm just warming up. So the next question is, do you know the difference between et hus and huset? A, yes, for sure. Or in Danish, ja, helt sikkert. B, no, not at all. Nej, overhovedet ikke. Or C, I'm not sure. Jeg er ikke helt sikker. Mhm. Mm. All right. That's good, because that is what we're going to talk about today. So I hope when we're done for today, then you know what the difference is between it who's and who's. So I'm gonna save the answer for this when we get a little bit later down. Then you can. I hope you will know what the difference is. And the last question, how familiar are you with the rules of Danish nouns? A, I'm new to Danish. Jeg er nybegynder. Og B, I'm very familiar with the rules. Jeg kender godt reglerne. All right. Good. Nice. Let's get started then. So, nouns, substantiver, as we call it in Danish. In English, we have an and a dog or an owl. That is like what we have in Danish, which is en or it. That's how we categorize the nouns. So, enko, which means a cow, it's under the category we call fælleskøn. And then we have a house, et hus. We use it as an article, and it's in the category called Indefinite. And unfortunately, there's no rules to when we use en or it. Yeah, I know Danish is a little bit complicated here, and when we have a rule, there's always an exception. So, but we have some patterns that we're gonna look into today. So this is like overall. If you have any question, just like throw them at me. Or else we're gonna go to fælleskøn, which is en. So when we use the article en, then it's fælleskøn. And around 75% of the nouns are fælleskøn. So a trick is that if you don't know which category it's in, then go with en. Most words which end with the else. So fælleskøn, it's a category. So it's yeah, what would we translate it to? It means like fælles is to be common. So it doesn't really matter if you know the name of the category. It's just that fælleskøn is en. That would be the same as saying a in English. And the same with Indefinite, that would be an. I hope that answered the questions. So this is just one category. Let's say in English we have a. It's the same as en in Danish. So a lot of words, 75% of all our nouns is fælleskøn, so has en in front of it. Yes. And most words which end with else, like overraskelse, else here, which means a surprise, it starts with an en. So if you see else in the end, it would be what do you say, like en. And then we have en tilladelse, a permission, en tilladelse. Here there is also some exceptions to this pattern. So a ghost would be et spøgelse, and then we're using it. So there is some exceptions to the rule. Then we have Indefinite, which is it. It means that the article it is in front of the noun. So this is words with ends with dømme or ri or ed and So this is just like some of them. So this is patterns. So if you have dømme, it means a reputation, then it's it. It could also be a kingdom, herredømme, then we're also using it. A bakery, then we have ri, it, and a head, et hoved, we also use it. So here we have the ending ed, and the museum, et museum. All right. So how we conjugate the nouns. So we have group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4. This is the 4 mainly way to conjugate nouns. Then we divide it into singular or plural, and then in indefinite and definite. So it's kind of the same. So we have en bil, and then we take the article en and put it behind the noun. So bilen, indefinite. So en bil becomes bilen. And the same when we have it, we say et hus, and we put it in the back of it. Et hus, huset. So this is how we make the indefinite to definite in singular. And the same with et år, a year, we put it in behind året. And et barn, barnet. Okay. So in plural, it becomes a bit more tricky. And that's why we have the different groups. So we have the indefinite in plural. The group 1 is the most regular way to do it. So we have the noun a car, bil, and then we put er in the back of it, so biler. And in the definite, we keep the er, but we put ni, bilerne. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to put an e on. So it would be et hus, a house, and in plural it would be huse. And when we only put e in indefinite, we put ne, indefinite, so husene. So here we put er, and here we put e. Group 1 is the most common way to, sorry, it's just that the chat is popping up. So, but yeah, the group 1 is the most common way to do it. And then group 2 comes afterwards. And then, yeah, there's not a lot of those. Group 4, I'll just save that for later. What? You disappeared? Sorry guys, I am back. Yeah, so here er and e, and then we put ne at the end, indefinite, so husene. Then we have group 3 where we don't put anything in the end, so we go from et år, året, where we put the article in the back, and in plural indefinite, we don't put anything on. So it would be all. Sorry. All right. Sorry, guys. There's one really want to get in touch with me, but I fixed it now. So, and the last group is where the vowel changes in plural. So we have a child, that would be et barn, and then again we put the article in the end, and in plural we put or we using a new vowel, so børn, and this would be børnene. So here we have the same børn, and then we put e, like in group 2, and the same here, årene. All right. So group 4 here would be when we're talking about family members, like fathers or mother, that would change. So you would say a father would be en far, and in plural it would be fædre. So here the vowel changes in plural. All right. Do you have any question for this? Else I'm gonna go on. All right, so I have a little exercise with me. And you should fill out the empty boxes here. So we're gonna take it from the top, et æble, and you can just fill in the answers in the chat, and then I can see them. So here's an example of what you're gonna do. So en weekend, weekenden, weekender, weekenderne. So, for example, here we have et æble. What would that be in the definite time? If we have æble and then we put it in the back of it, what would that be in definite? You can just answer in the text. Exactly. That is correct. Run do. I hope I said your name correctly. So it would be æble. And then we have æbler. What would that be in definite plural? Exactly, Anya. So when we're going to plural, we like then we're forgetting about the T we're putting on in the singular. So we have the root that is æble, and then in plural it's æbler, and then we put ne in definite, so it would be æblerne. Does that make sense? All right, let's try. Good. Unfortunately, there's no always. Anya, there was some. Anya was asking if it's always. I'm sorry. So what were you asking, Anya? You were asking if it's always made the erne. So it can also be ene. So when we had the example of et hus in plural, that would be husene. Okay. And I'm trying not to say, does that make sense, Gregory? So, en man, a man. what would that be in definite then? Exactly. Manden. That is correct. Manden. Very good. And here we have the tricky one. So this changes vowel in plural. So it stays here. Yeah, almost. That makes really good sense. But now we're using the ene or ene, and we just put it on men. So it would be men, ne, midne. And yeah, why? So here, just see if I can go back. Yes. So if you look at this one, no, sorry. Oh, it stays nice. So men, that changes the vowel. So just imagine that it says men, and then you put ene. Yes, exactly. So this would be the ending. So the ending in plural definite is either erne, and then it's when we have biler or something else in the indefinite where we have er in the end. So it's just ne. If we don't have the er here, you say you put ene in the end. Okay, so that's why we have min. Good. And a bird in fugl, what would that be in definite? Yes, exactly. Fuglen. All right. And in indefinite time, what would that be then? So now you know it looks like this. Yeah. So this is the definite. You know that this is what do you say, the definite. So you, and this is like what you put on, but I'm just gonna go back again, then you can maybe see here. So we can either put er or nothing on, or it changes vowels. And here we're, good guess, it would be fugle. Exactly, fugle. And then we have a tree, et træ. What would that be indefinite? Så 1, 3. Correct. 3 ed. So we just put that on the end. And now we have I can 3 ed. Sorry for the bad writing, but it's how you're like write it. So TRAET. And then in the indefinite, in plural, then it would be flere. And here we have group 1 actually, so it would be tre. And when it's group 1, then what are we adding to tre? So the group 1 is here. So ER. Yeah, exactly. And that would just be, so here it would be tre a. And then it would be, okay, there's no room. Tre a nø. The trees, træerne. Then we have, oh, and I misspelled this, tasken. Let's see if I can. So there's an N on the end. So here it would be tasken, the back. What would be the en taske? Yes, exactly. And it's group 1, tasken. So how would you conjugate it in plural then? If it's group 1, this was also group 1. Lige præcis. Exactly, tasker. And the definite would be what? Taskerne, yes. Exactly. Okay. Taskerne. Yes. Okay, so then we have the last one. It's en bog, a book. So what would that be in indefinite? Correct. Bogen. And here it changes vowel, but it also put on an ER, bøger. So here we have like a mix of group 1 and group 4, I think I was saying it was. So here it would still be bøger, but then we put on NE, bøgerne. So here we have a double one. Whoa. What happened? Where the vowel changes and you put an NE or ERNE on. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, we don't have a lot of time. I'm just gonna go. Does that mean that you can mix? Most of the time, there was a question if you can mix up the groups. Most of the time, the groups are very divided, but this is an example of something that could appear. So, bøgerne. Yeah, I don't really have an example of any other one. You're welcome. Okay, let's go to... So, here's a little story. It's in Danish here, and it's in English here. So, and this is some of the words we're conjugated before. So we have I weekend. In the weekend, that would be what if it's definite? Yeah. So we put it in the end. Weekenden, yes. Går mand. Yes. Exactly. Og en kvinde and a woman. En tur i en park. Manden har taske, a bag. Yes, yes. All right. And nogen æble. Nogen, that means some. So what would be the end to æble? Anya, you are correct. It's æbler because we have some, so it's indefinite, some apples. Og to, bøg. What would we put in? Yeah, exactly. Bøger. That is correct. De sidder på en bænk under træ. A tree. Yes. Et træ. Yeah. And the birds, fugl. Can you remember? This is specific, or sorry, the definite. So fuglene. So here would be ene. Ene. Flyver over træ. Ja, træerne. Exactly. Det er en dejlig dag. It's a lovely day. Or wonderful day. Yes. All right. So the summary of today's meetup is that nouns in Danish are divided into fælleskøn, en, og intetkøn, et. 75% starts with en, so if you don't know which one you're going to use, then use en. And then you put the article at the end of the word when you have the definite form in singular, I should say. And there are 4 ways to conjugate nouns. And then a fun fact, because why would I even be talking about this? So this is kind of a start to know how to, for example, use the correct form of pronouns, or if you adjective is also like affected, or what do you call it? So when we have pronouns, which I will be talking about next time, then if we have a intet, then we have the pronouns will be different to if you have a fyldskøn noun. Okay. So keep up the good work and keep practicing your Danish. If you want to join Better Danish, then you have 3 days free trial and you have 10% discount when you use the code Henriette. And if you want to join Better Danish, then you also get an access to the WhatsApp community. There will be an email sending out to you guys where, that tells a little bit about it. And in this WhatsApp community, I will also be included so you can ask questions directly to me as well. And the next meetup will be announced via email or at Better Danish. So, is there anyone who has some questions before we stop the meetup? Just need to see if I can. All right. Thank you, Gregory. There's one asking if the app does work on the phone. Mihai, I think that is a question for you, maybe. And the answer is that it's being worked on as we speak. So that's a good answer. So I hope you guys enjoyed the meetup, the lesson, and if you have any feedback or any question, then just send a message. That would be very nice. Thank you for today, and I will stop